Kevin McCarthy was ousted from his position of House Majority Leader in 2015, due to accusations of unethical behavior. McCarthy was alleged to be out of touch with voters and to have become increasingly disengaged politically. Furthermore, McCarthy was accused of having done little to address critical issues such as immigration and health care. His leadership had become increasingly unpopular amidst members of the Republican Party, leading to calls for his resignation. As such, McCarthy felt it necessary to step down and allow for new leadership in the House of Representatives. His failure to address these various issues effectively sparked widespread dissatisfaction among Republicans. Despite his attempts to rectify his leadership shortcomings, his inability to do so proved to be too much for Republicans. This dissatisfaction among members of the party ultimately caused him to step down from his position. McCarthy's inability to communicate with constituents and address the issues that mattered to them ultimately doomed his leadership. Furthermore, his lack of political strategy only further alienated members of the party. This alienation was what ultimately led to his ousting, as members had had enough of his ineffective leadership. In order to maintain the GOP's success in the House, effective leadership was needed, which McCarthy was unable to provide. His refusal to connect with the American public only exacerbated the situation, and eventually became too much for Republicans. The lack of strategy ultimately resulted in a stalemate in policy making, something that McCarthy was unable to overcome. This lack of progress plunged the party further into its political crisis, furthering the need for McCarthy's ousting. Furthermore, his inability to stay up to date on the issues at hand meant that he was unable to effectively lead. As such, the dissatisfaction of his constituents was the direct result of his perceived inaction towards the pressing issues. His lack of communication with Republicans was also seen as a huge hurdle for the party to overcome. Members of Congress, along with the constituents, were not pleased with his leadership style and felt it necessary to oust him. His views on certain issues, or lack thereof, caused McCarthy to become less and less popular amongst voters. This disillusionment with his leadership, specifically concerning immigration and health care, caused his removal as majority leader. It ultimately became recognized that change was needed, and McCarthy could no longer provide what the party needed. This realization by Republicans was what ultimately led to McCarthy's ousting from his position. As such, his refusal to compromise and his lack of strategy concerning key issues proved to be his downfall. Now, members of Congress continue to argue and try to rein in McCarthy's failed leadership tactics.